The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
Hannah,
hi.
We have some of my favorite guests. It's been a year. It was one of my favorite shows that we've ever done on the EP Podcast. I've been looking forward to this for a year because we had so much fun. We have the folks from the Most Holy Redeemer trivia competition that is coming up here on the 29th of this month. And we have Tom Winstead, who told me last year he was done. And he's been sucked back in. How are you,
He's
Tom?
so good
Just
as a
when
host.
you think you're out, they drag you back in.
Pull you back in, okay. Aaron Bishop is here. How are you, Aaron?
Good.
And then we have Matt McKee, who is sitting here. He's been on this show before because he's a member of the Irish Kilty Band. But now you got sucked in. You're
I thought a couple years ago, but yeah.
you didn't show up for the podcast last year. I didn't know you were a part of this.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you're hanging here. I just want to point out to everybody that's listening, I'm really good at this. No, I want to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm really good at this. Like this past year, a year ago. Well, let's start even sooner than that. For the last couple of years, the same team always wins. Always wins. It's got the pastor of the church, Father Highland, on there. Right? Am I making it up, Tom? He's been kicking butt.
Three of the past four.
Three of the past four, right? But who's the one that stopped him? The Lanuti table. The Lanuti table stopped him. Last year, we almost stopped him. He had a full table. I had 5 people, Hannah. Remember this? It was me, it was you, it was Erica, it was my buddy Ed, who's on one of my other podcasts, and his wife.
Yes.
And the other people didn't show up. Father Paul was supposed to be there. He had to give last rites. I don't know why that was more important. And then all of a sudden, I didn't have enough trivia people, and we came in second.
Yes.
We came in second against a full team with half of a team. I'm bringing a full team this year. I'm bringing back, actually, the original team that won the championship a few years ago and finally stopped the Highland team. And let's not even. I'm
Now,
not
Chris
even,
is not
I'm going to name it
competitive
too.
at all,
It's the
so.
Highland Race team. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
it's Julie
Marty
Race.
Race and Julie
Well,
Race.
it's Julie Race that carries that team.
Whatever. Okay,
I've been told.
I know the races.
My
They're
sources,
great people.
My
I love
sources
them.
have said is Julie.
I love them. But let me tell you something right now.
Trivia is her Christmas.
I know it is, and I am going to ruin Christmas. There's going to be no presents underneath the tree because I am bringing back the original group that won a couple of years ago. But I am adding in, there are 2 people that couldn't make it. I'm adding in Hannah and Father Paul. So I've got my religious questions down because you guys have a section where it's basically like, name this church. And nobody knows the churches. And it's like the priest always gets it. And now I've got a priest. And I've got Hannah for your Bayou questions. So I'm ready.
Ask a lot of Bayou questions. You know where I dominated last year was the royalty questions.
The
They were
royalty
asking
questions. She
about
was
who
on
was
that. Yeah,
sixth
with-
in line
yeah,
to the
you were
throne.
on that one. I'm
That
looking
was
forward to it.
Kieran Winstead wrote that category.
Very, very good. Okay, so, and then last year, of course, you guys surprised me with the Steve Dahl question. And
cool.
I thought that was amazing, and we talked about it a little bit on the show afterwards, but like I'd actually suggested to Erin, I was like, is there a question about me? And she kind of stuttered on the show. And then next thing you know, here's Steve Dahl, and he's asking a question, who's the person who's the host of the EP podcast? So, Erin, I'm going to start with you. What question am I in this year?
Oh, Mike Cushing would have my head if I gave you any clues at all. It is top secret. They are
Okay.
locked and loaded. I cannot tell you.
This
But for
is
the right price, I might.
okay.
Because
well,
it's all for charity.
This is my favorite. Like, I think I told you this last year. My sister's in a school in Beverly, and they do a trivia night. And at their trivia night, you have to bring your own booze, and you have to bring your own food.
Now you can
Sinful.
bring your own booze
Oh,
and foods to us.
You
for
can
our
do
party
that.
Too.
You can bring in if like you want something.
Bring it
Like,
as much
if you
as
really
you
like
want.
drinking Jack Daniels, just plop it down on the table and go for it. But you have a bar with beer, and then you also provide food, right?
Correct.
Okay. So tell everybody real quick who's never been part of a Most Holy Redeemer trivia night what they can expect if they join us on the 29th.
All right. So the Most Holy Redeemer Trivia Night supports our technology fund. It's $450 for a table. That's
That'll
10
buy a lot of
people.
rocket ships for the kids.
Absolutely. Yeah, pizza, drinks, pop, beer. I think there's wine, boxed wine, but wine nevertheless. Doors
don't
open
care
at
what it
6.
comes
Trivia starts at 7.
Bottles of wine, Tommy. We got
Exactly.
bottles. Jim Holly buys the bottles.
That's right. No one ever complained about the amount or the vintage of the alcohol
No.
served.
No.
that I can recall.
And Tom, you host it.
I do host it. Yeah,
You're
it's
the
my
host with the most.
Fourth year.
So last year you told me you were done and you're back. Why?
It was a 3-year commitment, much like Gilligan's 30-minute tour, though, or 3-hour tour. It is extended. So this is my 4th year, supposedly final. We'll see.
Aaron,
And yeah, I don't think they should ever change anybody. Okay, I'm going to tell you something right now, because he comes out and it's a comedy act. He's got nothing but personality when he comes out there. I've been to trivia contests all over the South Side. I love doing trivia. This is like my thing. And when I sit down and I watch Tom go out there, it's funny what you do. Do you write it down in advance before you go out there?
I do not prepare ever for anything, Chris, including tonight, as you'll notice. But Aaron does a lot of preparation. So she's the straw that stirs the drink of the trivia committee. So as long as she's in, I'm doing it. But the minute she bombs out, that's it. So.
What goes into the questions, Aaron? How do we figure out what we're going to ask people?
So
because
the
thing
team.
that I hate is I hate going to trivia nights where you hire a trivia
No,
guy.
no.
And you guys don't do that.
No, all
you
13.
do stuff that's like local
Yep.
and has something to do with the community, and that's
all
why I think
13
it's fun.
team members are parents at Redeemer.
Okay.
And we all write the questions. And then we all look at the questions. We try to answer the questions. We move them around and decide what works best. So it's all people your age, people that you know, writing these questions.
Last year you had like trivia questions that didn't make it.
Correct.
Do you have that again for me this year?
We sure do.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So these are, and you know what was great was when I went back and listened to the episode, they were clearly like question 11. Like you still had that category. So I felt like people that listened to the EP podcast and then went to trivia night had an idea of what was going to be asked. Like it benefited people that showed up for trivia night to listen to the EP podcast and then hear the rejected trivia questions. Because there were a couple times that you guys like brought up a category. I'm like, oh, like that was one of the rejected ones from that category. So I'm excited about this.
I will not confirm or deny that right now. Mike Cushing will be over here to get me in
Mike Cushing should have come tonight. So nobody cares what he thinks. You get a table of 10 for $450. I, of course, had a table of 5 last year and came in second. So if you can't field a table of 10 and come in the top 10, you're sad and you should be ashamed of yourself. Doors open at 6 p.m. Bonus points for the best table decorations. Team theme. Give me a hint as to how I win this. Because I have watched people win this, and I think their tables look stupid. And I feel like my table looks better than theirs. So what is the key to winning the best table? Tom? What's the best?
Good question.
Who makes the decision?
It's certainly not me.
It's the wives, right? I mean, the girls who sell the raffle baskets.
The
raffle basket
beauty
wives.
Contest, yeah.
It's a beauty contest.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
I just want to know who I got to play to.
You're playing to a 40-year-old girl. crowd.
40-year-old women.
Yeah.
It might be when they see people going up to put money in the baskets for the raffles,
Okay.
they gravitate towards those tables. I don't know
But
that.
40-year-old women is what I'm talking.
It's the moms of
That's your
MHR.
target
So I got
audience.
I got to ask Erica, like, who's hot?
Yeah.
And then let's make a table in
Right.
honor of that guy.
Yeah.
You know? Right? I mean, like
That'd be a good start.
I mean,
yeah.
think about Tom. Follow me on this one.
Yeah.
But remember when women were like totally in love with that whole thing with the vampires and the werewolves and they were
Oh,
running
yes.
around?
Yeah,
What was it?
Twilight.
Twilight, exactly.
Twilight.
So if I would have had a table that had Edward and the guy that turned into a wolf,
Yeah.
and I put them together, 40-year-old women would love that, and I might win the best table.
Maybe just an Us Weekly themed table
Maybe I could do that.
might just go straight to
Right,
the heart
right.
of the matter.
Exactly.
That might do it.
You know, maybe exactly. Maybe just something that has to do with like I don't know. What are they into? What are these 40-year-old women into?
The ladies these days.
What are the ladies into, Tom? I don't know.
I'm afraid I just read the questions.
Real quick, it is now time for your EP word on the street. Because we got to get to these rejected trivia questions. We have 2 other guests about to walk in the door here as well. Over the last couple of weeks, we've had guests on that have talked about events going on this Saturday, the 22nd of February. If you haven't heard the previews for Fantasy Fest, that is Evergreen Park's Comic-Con, or the EP Library Sip and Sample, go back and check out those previous episodes. Fantasy Fest is this Saturday at the Senior Center, 9547 South Holman Avenue. And the Sip and Sample starts at 6 p.m. over at the library. Call 708-422-8522 for more details. The village-wide garage sale held at Yukich Field is now going to take place on Saturday, May the 2nd from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. There are indoor spots for $50, outdoor spots for $35. And now is the time to register your kid for baseball or softball. The EPAA and the Boys Club in the middle of registrations, and also our next guest, the EPGSL Evergreen Park Girls Softball League. Their registration open as well. Go to epgirlssoftball.com for more details, or just listen to our next guest sitting here right now, ready to go. It's the EP Podcast rolling on, found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
Hey, Dad, can we go someplace fun for dinner tonight?
Well, I don't want to drive too far, and we're staying in Evergreen Park. And it's got to be someplace I can bring your younger brother, and your mother and I can still get something cold to drink.
I want to have seafood tonight.
I want to get messy.
How about this? I have an idea. We'll go to the Crazy Crab.
Yay!
Crazy Crab at 9204 Southwestern Avenue in Evergreen Park is open for lunch and dinner with favorites like fried catfish, shrimp po' boys, lobster rolls, and raw oysters by the half dozen. And then if you want to get crazy, pick out some crab legs, snow crab, king crab, blue crabs, lobster tail, mussels, clams, crawfish, shrimp, and then pick your flavors: lemon pepper, garlic pepper, crazy Cajun, or combine all three in the trifecta, and then go for the spice. You can go mild all the way up to crazy hot. Then the Crazy Crab brings it to your table and you chow down. Kids, get in the car. We're heading up to 9204 Southwestern Avenue and getting some Crazy Crab.
Yay!
Last week we had Don Paul on the EP podcast, and he talked fondly about his time playing ball all around Evergreen Park. He played for multiple leagues, multiple schools. The one league that he didn't play on, though, because he wasn't eligible to play in that league, is the EPGSL, the Evergreen Park Girls Softball League. And Scott McQuillan, who has been on this show once before, rejoins us around the same time as he did last year, is because kids are starting to, it doesn't feel like it outside, Scott, but it's time to get ready if your kid is going to start playing softball.
Absolutely. This is our busy time because we're trying to, I guess you could call it recruit. We're going around trying to get our flyer out to everybody and make sure everybody knows that we're here and that spring is just right around the corner, and you need to get signed up now. Our draft is in the second week of March, so we're trying to get all our registration done before then.
Yeah, I've coached in this league before. I've mentioned that. You know that, of course, but I mean, not everybody who listens knows that. My daughter still plays in this league. I love what I've seen over the years with it. The only kind of thing that I can tell people if they're thinking about putting their daughter into this league, if they've never done it before, is that it seems like every year it gets better. And it seems like every year you really feel like you're like in a class league. You guys, when I first started being a part of it, there might have been 2 or 3 or 4 signs up there for like big years where they won a championship. You might need to find another diamond to put more signs up because it's literally all over there at Yukich. You could go and see all these accomplishments of all these girls that have been in the league now for these years and years and years. And you've been a part of it now for a long time. Well, how does it feel to see it grow to what it's become?
It's great. It feels great. We got 2 more that are going to go up on the fence this year. Our 16U and 10U all-star teams last year won the state championship for Little League in Illinois. And it's a great feeling. We definitely have been getting better, I think, in the competition in the league. The parity in the league, we try and split the teams up so that they're even, and all the girls, that you don't have teams that are 10-1 and a team that's 1-10. Our goal is to have a bunch of 5-5 teams because we want the girls to have fun out there. And if you're getting beat up every time, you're not having fun. And if you're as much as you wouldn't think it, if you're beating everybody up, it gets a little boring too. So you don't want to do either one, really.
Good for you guys. I'm always happy to have you on. I reached out to you on this one because I was like,
absolutely,
I always want to support that league. That league brought my daughter an awful lot of joy, and there are plenty of places, but this is the league for girls in the area to go and play in. I know that there's a lot of options for boys for Little League and everything like that, but if you have a daughter that wants to play, I remember my daughter was hesitant to play softball because the White Sox play baseball. So she played with the boys for a few
Exactly.
years. But when she came over here, she realized that she probably should have just come over here in the first place. And if she could sit here and give advice, that's what she would say. So
It's all of her friends from school and everything anyway playing on these teams.
Yeah.
And we bring in kids from other areas too. We encompass Mount Greenwood, Marionette Park even, and then obviously Evergreen. But you have kids from the public schools in Evergreen mixing in with the kids from Most Holy Redeemer and Queen of Martyrs, as well as some other schools outside of.
oh yeah, they really become friends with kids they wouldn't have normally met. And that's what
Exactly.
makes it really kind of a
Exactly.
fun league. It's awesome. Well, Scott, thanks a lot for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them.
Sounds
Hannah?
busy. He's got places to go.
Yeah, I know. He's a busy guy. We got to get into this
Come
interview.
on.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
We have our good friend Sal Munoz over here from Unidad, a Latin kitchen and bar. I've been begging him to come down to the bar for ages.
He
I'm
gave
always
in.
in his bar drinking his booze, and now he's in my bar drinking mine. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm happy. I'm you know, we're getting to the end of winter, even though the weather is terrible right now here in February. I can look at the calendar and be like, there is so much ahead. And I know you guys are doing a lot of stuff. And this is kind of a fun next month or so, I think, for restaurants in the area. Would you agree?
Absolutely. You know, spring's right around the corner, so we're looking to do some stuff that is going to get closer to patio season. So as soon as the weather breaks, we're going to start putting tables out there. I mean, we still probably have a couple months or 3 months, but
Right.
that's what we're looking forward
But the
to.
patio is so nice.
It
I mean,
is
the
very
patio at
nice.
Unidad is one of those
Thank you.
things where you don't really see it from the street. You know it's kind of there because you can kind of see the lights next to the
But
building
you want to
as you
get there
drive
early
down
and just
95th
stay
Street.
for
Yeah.
a couple hours at least.
Yeah.
It's just so nice out there with the little lights.
You have like a
and-
VIP lounge out there too, right?
Yes, and,
Yeah, but
and
it's like a couch
and a
and-
bouncer, and like we have the whole thing out there.
All right. But right now, you're doing something this coming weekend. You've got Carnival coming up.
Yes.
And this is perfect because we're doing Mardi Gras down here. You see that Hannah has decorated the entire area.
It's
I
lovely.
bump into these stupid streamers hanging from the ceiling while I'm walking around here looking for my underpants in the back room. They're everywhere. It's like the basement is still a living
It's
basement.
festive.
It looks- I love it.
On
It
a
looks
Wednesday
awesome.
morning when I'm walking around and I'm playing with a kid or something like that, I just walk into a Mardi Gras decoration that's left over down here. They're hanging everywhere, but you're doing Carnival. So what? We all know about what Mardi Gras is because Hannah here is from Louisiana, and that's it. Carnival is basically the same thing. It's leading up to Fat Tuesday, but what exactly, if somebody goes into Unidad, what's going to be different?
So I think Carnival is like kind of like the Latin version of Mardi Gras,
Right.
And so we're
So it's
gonna,
probably better.
I don't know, maybe.
more
I doubt it. I doubt it.
music.
No, so we'll just have different music. Yes, we'll have Latin music on, but we're gonna do caipirinha, which is a traditional cocktail from Brazil.
The food is great. I know I
Thank you.
talk about
Thanks,
it a lot,
Chris.
but the food is great. I love the ambiance of everything, and I also love your bartenders.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, they're-
especially Mike. Not
Mike's
to pick
awesome.
anybody else out, but Mike's awesome.
Yeah.
He's been on the show before with the
Yeah.
mixology thing that he does, and he just comes up with all the craft cocktails.
Yeah.
How did you find a guy like that? Because it seems to me like you got really lucky finding. I mean, because he's he's probably the most unique bartender in all of Evergreen Park.
He is, and so it's a not funny, but an interesting story. He kind of came in on a brunch when we were doing brunch, and we were actually getting ready to close. And I was like, when he was coming in, I was like, oh, we're getting ready to close. Why is this guy applying
Who's
for a
this
job?
jerk?
Who is this guy? You know, he should know better. But he came in and he had like this look. He had the tattoos on his arms. He had like his hair, pinned up in the back. And
Right.
I'm like, okay. And he had his resume. And so when I was looking at his resume, he had a couple of spots that I knew that are in downtown. And so I asked him, I was like, okay, well, can you make this cocktail? And sure enough, I invited him to make a cocktail, and he went behind the bar and he rocked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing the interview process, this is really interesting. If you're doing the interview process,
you
you're
interview
looking for a bartender.
Yeah.
Like, do you
Skills
come up,
test.
do you first sit there and go, okay, we're going to do like something simple. Let's see if they at least know what simple syrup is, you know? Can they make an old fashioned? Because I'm just getting them out of here if they can't do
Yes.
something simple. But then do you go, okay, now I'm going to pull something crazy out. Let's see if they can do it.
I mean, there's not a big crazy interview process. It's just I do ask those questions. We've had a server that came in one time, and I'm not going to mention names because people are not going to want to work with us. But I asked, you've been to the restaurant. There's like certain standards that
you have some standards.
So
That's what makes it so enjoyable.
There's
nice
nothing
place.
like Hannah. There is nothing like showing up early because Sal runs commercials on the show from time to time. There is nothing like showing up early because I have a meeting with Sal and he's having his meeting with all of his people. And it's like they have the menu memorized.
Oh, yeah, you
they
have
know
to.
every little thing that you can do on there. They know where everything comes from. If you ask for a beer, they know who makes it and where it's made at. And this is where the grains are harvested. Like he is and he quizzes before they start. I mean, like if you want this, that's why I always think it's great here to have something in Evergreen Park that's like that. Because I used to work in the River North area, and it was the one time that I would ever see restaurants run like that, where it was just so like. We need to be ready for anything when the customer comes in, and you run a restaurant like that right here in the middle of Evergreen Park, which I think is really cool.
Thank you. I tried to, and I think you happened to come in one of those meetings. I almost was going to quiz you. I was like,
I know.
Hey, do you know this?
I know. No, what was funny was I think that somebody couldn't answer the question, and you were about to ask me if I knew where the beer was from.
I think I was.
And I did know where the beer was from because I drink a lot of beer. So we've got Carnival coming up, and you move the menu around so much. Is it because you want the different variety? Is it because certain things are in season? Why does the menu change so much? Because it is actually kind of a cool thing. You walk in and you go, okay, I'm not going to always get the same thing every time. It forces you to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. I have 5 or 6 favorites at Unidad instead of the one dish that I'm going to always go to because things change so much. So why change it? What was the reason?
Most of it is seasonal.
Okay.
If there's anything that's in season, we try to make sure that we actually apply it to some of the dishes. And then I just don't want to get bored. Like I want to make sure that we, I hate for you to come in and you see the menu and it's the same thing. I'm like, oh, okay, it hasn't changed. I've gone to restaurants where it's like the same thing. And you're like, okay, I want something fun. And so I think that's what we just try to make, change them besides the seasonal part of it, but just try to make it fun, And we're actually going to get ready to do quite a few changes, and if you don't mind me plugging it.
No, go for it.
We're super excited because we're actually bringing in a new chef, for like the first time.
The last chef didn't know which beer was on tap.
Yeah,
that's what happened. Sal was like, "You're out of here."
Chris actually was the one that let go of the chef for me. I was like, "Thanks, Chris. I couldn't do it myself." But we're bringing in a new chef, and we're super excited, super proud because the kitchen's probably going to be an all-female kitchen staff, and so we're
That's
really
pretty cool.
Little girl
We're
power
really
going on
excited.
Unidad.
That's great. March is International Women's Month.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. There he's set. You're good. I want to say first. I want to say before we get out of here. First of all, my wife Erica, you brought gifts, which you don't need to do. So you brought some swag. You also brought a bottle of tequila. We're not going to let you leave without having some tequila. So, honey, if you don't mind grabbing some tequila, and then also I want to say. It is? It's mezcal?
It's mezcal.
Mezcal is like the smoky tequila, right?
Yes,
Is that what that is? Okay. She
knows.
never asked for a smoky tequila until she started going there, and now I have all these weird tequilas underneath my bar. And she's a tequila connoisseur
She's a
now.
connoisseur
because of
now.
you.
I love it.
Yeah, you're the reason that mommy comes home a little intoxicated. Now,
I'm gonna ask her to come and do our mezcal class for everybody.
All right. So the other thing I wanted to point out is that this is the first time you've come down here, but I want to tell you thank you, my friend, because you did the first Eating Evergreen Park when the EP podcast was brand new. You were one of the first people to get behind the show when it was happening. And I can't believe you bring in gifts because I should be giving you gifts.
Oh, stop it.
Okay. I mean, I really should. And that's why we're at least going to give Sal a taste of what he brought in here for us. Okay. We're going to serve him at least his own tequila.
I love it.
Because I didn't get him any gifts, and I probably should be giving him gifts instead of him giving me gifts.
No,
okay?
this is perfect. First time being here, you're probably gonna get sick of me because I'm gonna be asking you, hey, can I come back?
You come
down?
over anytime you want to.
Anytime.
This is
fun. Yeah,
this
you
is
come over-
awesome.
We
You
love
come over
having you.
anytime you want to. Okay, we have Hannah down here. It was originally just going to be like every once in a while, but now, Hannah and Erica are friends. So now Hannah's down here like every week, and she's on the show. And then the girls, after they're done, they drink 2 bottles of wine. They might be over at your place later on the night. Okay? So there's a good chance. What kind of tequila did Sal bring us? What is it? What do we got? It's just, but here, give him the bottle. Oh, here, let me see it.
So it's
he can tell us what it is.
So it's a mezcal, and it's the name of it is Proligio. It's a Proligio Blanco.
Okay. Fancy stuff, I would assume. You bring nothing but the best here.
Nothing
That's
but the best for Eric.
Okay. Remember, Unidad is located in the heart of Evergreen Park at 3339 West 95th Street. They are open. Is there any day you're not open?
We are not open on Mondays.
On Mondays. Well,
Yes.
nobody's open on Mondays,
Yeah.
so good for you. Take Monday off, okay? You know what? I'm going to start being not open on Mondays, too. Erica's going to be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm closed on Mondays, okay? But if you ever need any information from them, you can visit them at unidadrestaurant.com or give them a call at 708-529-0911. My friend, I appreciate you bringing us in. Do we have...
My pleasure.
What is there a special toast? Is there a Carnival toast? Is there something you can
Salud.
say in Spanish so that we can make this
Salud.
more exotic?
Salud.
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 Salud. Yeah, we're going to need more of those. Does your financial advisor actually take time to listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation changes? Why worry about those things when Tom Walsh is nearby? He's your local Edward Jones financial advisor. He works with you, focusing on what's important to you. He uses an established process to create personalized financial strategy, and he partners with you to help your strategy stay on track. Listen, families in South Chicagoland have been benefiting from Tom's get-to-know-you approach and do-the-right-thing values for over 18 years. Contact my close personal friend and also a fellow Brother Rice alumni, Tom Walsh. He's your local Edward Jones advisor, located in Mount Greenwood, right outside of the EP at 111th and Kedzie. Member SIPC. So let's do some rejected trivia questions.
All right.
We have the group here from Most Holy Redeemer. I feel like Tom's going to be doing the questions because that's his job, and he's really good at it.
This is my job.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to be honest with you. A couple years back, I'm at one of these things, or somebody else was hosting besides you. Erica sitting next to me. She goes, "You should host this."
There you
Like
go.
what? She like, "You do the radio thing. You can do the podcast thing. You should host this. You're funny." Then you got up there the next year, and I was like, "I'm not hosting this. He's better than me." Like he's actually funnier than I am. I don't want to go up there and follow him.
I would love to see you do it next year, Chris. It would absolutely kill to see you up there next year from a seat
No, this
on the
is
floor.
you. This is you forever.
Part
This
of the
is all
reason why we
yours.
want to hand off the committee is because we want to play. Like we want to take down
Oh
the
yeah,
Highland
that's
team.
why I won't do it.
So if you win,
If
and
I
you want
win,
to take
how about this?
over.
If I win, I'll take over.
It's a 3-year tour.
If I win, I'll take over. That's what I'll do. If I win, I'll take over, and I expect to win the extra points for the best dressed table. And a bonus 10 points for being cute. Okay, let's do the rejected trivia questions because this is my favorite thing. That's really why I brought you down here is to do trivia with
Understood.
Hannah. So who's
Understood.
doing it with us?
So Matt
Matt's
McKee,
going to do it. He's on the committee.
but he's not seen these questions.
You've not seen these
I
questions.
haven't seen these questions.
Hannah's over there, and
I'm
then
an
me. So
outsider.
there's 3 of us that are doing it. How are we gonna? Do we buzz in, or do we just kind of all guess, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I think last year just
We buzzed, right?
yeah.
All right.
Buzz,
So
maybe,
you got to come up with what your
Flicker
buzzer
of
noise
beat.
is. What's your
Oh.
buzzer noise?
Bzz, bzz.
Okay. Okay. I'm doing the Shakira. Okay. Are you ready?
All right.
All right.
Question number 1. Name the Kenny Chesney song with the lyrics, "And I wish I had gone to church on Sunday morning."
We need a country person on our team. You're
I
from
know
the country.
I know Kenny Chesney like
Yeah.
prior to 1997.
You're from the country.
Yeah, I know all of his old stuff.
Pick a
When he
Kenny
started
Chesney
going-
song. Oh my God, I got to read some Kenny Chesney. There's a whole Kenny Chesney category.
Grandpa told me
You
so. Is
know
a
there
really
is.
good one.
Or there's a country category.
We're-
Somebody better be ready for this.
We're trying to promote the raffle.
Giant Kenny Chesney knowledge. I'm gonna go with a lot of things different.
Yep, that is accurate.
That's
One
it?
of his
Okay.
newer
Things
ones.
different.
I
All right.
don't know the newer stuff.
Matt's got it.
All right. Question number 2. Pink briefly dated this Motley Crue drummer.
Tommy Lee.
Whoa, I don't
You
know.
didn't buzz.
Kind of not a buzzing.
You didn't
but
buzz. Go ahead, Matt. You buzzed.
Tommy Lee.
Correct.
Man! Just because I didn't follow the rules.
You have to
God.
buzz. You have to buzz. All
Pamela
right.
Anderson, Pink. Question number 3. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. Name this first female Nobel Prize winner who died from radiation exposure, and gave us the quote above.
Buzz.
Oh, Hannah?
I'm going to say Marie Curie.
That's
Correct.
right. That's
Marie
right.
Curie.
Hannah had it. I could see her. I wasn't even going to
Context
buzz
clues.
it. She was leaning into the microphone.
right.
She was ready to go.
Context clues, kids.
on my
Pay
team.
attention
All
in
right.
English.
Study Marie Curie.
There was an entire Marie
Question.
Curie.
It's all Marie
There better not
Curie.
be a Marie Curie
Yeah.
category.
It might
She
be
was
a-
the first female Nobel Prize winner, Chris.
Maybe a table decorating idea for
Okay.
you. Marie
Radiation.
Curie theme.
I don't know if that plays with 40-year-old women.
Question number 4. Science is a wonderful thing, and if one does not have to earn one's... Science is a wonderful thing if one does not have to earn one's living at it. Name the scientist who said this. All right, Chris.
Albert Einstein.
Correct. Good guess.
Did you
No,
know
I
that was
remembered
a,
it.
Did you
No,
know?
I remembered that he said it. No, I knew he
Did
said
you
it.
know
All right.
that was a
I
quote?
remembered that he said it. I knew it was an Albert Einstein quote, and I am convinced now there's an entire scientist category in this thing. Because that is 2 of them that would have fallen under the same
But
category.
this is rejected.
When you-
Are these rejected questions from
Yeah,
this year?
these are rejected questions from this year. So if you
We're
listen to the
brushing up
EP
on
podcast,
science.
you know what's coming. That's kind of the thing.
Science.
Yeah. Okay.
Question number 5.
I drive Erin nuts. She's like, you're a jerk giving everything away.
I'm just so nervous. I'm going to get in so much trouble.
All right, number 5. Which U.S. president said, "It has long been recognized that the problems with alcohol relate not to the use of a bad thing, but to the abuse of a good thing"? Let's hear it.
I'm going to go with Ulysses S. Grant, famous alcoholic president.
Ulysses had a lot of abuse, but he is not the answer, unfortunately.
Buzz. I'm
Let's
just
hear
saying
it.
Calvin Coolidge.
Silent Cal is not
Calvin
right either,
Coolidge?
I'm
Where'd
I'm
you
afraid.
pull
just
that out
throwing
of?
stuff out.
You're off the
Come on,
team.
Ulysses Grant.
At least mine made sense.
Obscure presidents is not the category. It is super famous presidents, Matt McKee. Let's
I'm
see
going
what
to
we
go
got.
with Abraham Lincoln.
Absolutely, Abraham Lincoln. Honest Abe enjoyed a cocktail. All right. Name the president that said, "What America needs now is a drink."
Again, alcoholic presidents.
What
Well,
America
we
needs
need to
now
brush
is
up
a
on this.
drink.
What
Yeah,
America
we got to be
needs now
ready
is a
for
drink.
president.
What America needs now is a drink.
I'm going to
Oh.
go. Bloop.
All right,
I'm
let's
going to
hear it.
go. When Prohibition ended,
Yep.
let's
on the right track.
let's do that.
Yep.
I don't know who it was. I'm just going to go FDR.
Correct. Franklin Delano
That's what I was
Roosevelt.
gonna
Yeah.
say.
All right.
Okay, so unfortunately, it turns out that we have some studying to do.
We have
but
a
we gotta
lot
know.
of studying
We got
to
to
do.
work on presidents,
Scientists.
scientists, definitely scientists. There's definitely some scientists.
Drunken
Scientists.
presidents, possibly.
Drunken presidents,
presidents.
something like that. Yes. Okay, so we're good. We're ready to go. This is on what date again?
February 29th, Leap Day, Saturday, February 29th.
We got $450 tables on the 29th of February. There's only a few of them left. Get them while you can. This is the premier trivia night in the entire area. This is the best one. They provide food.
Yes.
They've got alcohol. They've got fun. They've got stuff at the tables. They've got a silent auction. They've got Tom here making jokes. We have scientist questions and James
Drunken
Bond
presidents.
questions. And somewhere in there, I believe there'll be another EP podcast Chris Lanuti question. Right?
Run, do not walk to www.mhrschool.com to get your table.
Look at Erin. Erin, put her head down. Make sure you're brushed up on the EP podcast. We were a question last year. We might be a question again this year. That would be wonderful. And I'm looking forward to showing up again this year.
Looking forward to seeing you,
and
Chris. It's
crushing
gonna be a great
Father
time.
Highland and his team. And we will see you guys on the 29th. Thank you very much for coming down here. We
Thank
got
you,
Aaron,
Chris.
Tom, we got Matt. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having
Chris.
us.
Thanks, Hannah.
Another show isn't wrapped up. Another show's in the books. Another show isn't wrapped up. And then by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. And we'll see you next week. And the nude is basement. And the nude is basement. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And it's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. Nudie's Basement. Broadcast Basement. The Nudie's Basement. The Broad Basement. Sláinte.
The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com.